Look at me. 20 years ago, I didn't think I'd be here. But wait, let me introduce myself first. So when I started trading, I decided I'm ready to lend my experience, knowledge, and dedication to those that wants to elevate. So welcome to Mindset. Hello, good morning, welcome to Mindset. It's the end of the week and we're in the month of September. This month is when we start our new section. We're going to spend the whole entire month around PTSD. That is the acronym for Panic Trading Strategy Disorder. So we're going to be really focusing on clearing our general issues and handling whatever necessary so that way we can get there. So if you don't know what that means, it's not about just the market volatility in itself. It's the internal battle that you're always fighting with yourself, trying to make sure that you are in line with your strategy and be able to execute. Just like Michael Jackson's song says, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. So if there's a mirror that's big enough that's going to go ahead and hold you accountable, it is the market. So without further ado, the main purpose of this is for me to kind of really root you and get you in the right place so that we can understand what the game plan is going into this week. I always want to get you as objective as possible so that way you can be able to face the market, execute your trades properly without any emotional subjectivity, so that way you don't feel like, oh, I should or I can or this, that, third. The goal is to always execute. So if you had a big win this week, especially with the drop after non-farm payrolls, congratulations, and I wish you the best going forward. And if you had a down week and it didn't really pan out, listen, it does not define who you are, okay? So earlier I had a nice little session with all my early birds in my mindset class. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. That way you can see when I pop in, and of course you can follow me on Instagram. So let's start with the man in the mirror. The whole purpose is just the self-awareness. You are the trader that you are, right? If you're a scalper, you're a scalper. If you're a day trader, you're a day trader. If you're a swing trader, investor, whatever the case may be, you are who you are, all right? So stop chasing the trades that's fear of missing out. Just because someone said, hey, I made 10K on social media doesn't mean that they make 10K every single time on social media. It's about the consistency. So don't wish for what somebody else has. Just wish that you are better, all right? Because that process is going to put you in the right mindset. So moving on, we got changing out the bad habits. Like, if you know what your bad habits are, you already know what type of person that you are, then that means how can you ask the man in the mirror to change his ways? Just like the song says, right? And it's about sticking to your plan. The biggest thing I always tell a lot of traders is you got to have 3 W's. Why are you looking in the market in the first place? What is your entry? And then after it's all said and done, when do you get out? So if you're going to go ahead and deal with when you're going to get out, then that means you got your stop loss and your take profit. What is my entry? I'm in because I'm based on this parameter. And why am I looking in the first place should be your focal point. If you're looking because you saw something on Instagram, oh wait, he made $10,000. Let me go ahead and check out on social media on my chart. The trade probably already ran away. Are you managing your risk management properly? Are you doing your 2-to-1 ratios, your 1.5-to-1 ratios? Are you trading with a 0.5 ratio? We just did a nice little example of what happened recently to a well-renowned trader, and it's less than 0.5. That is a formula for disaster. Myron Golden says, change your action and you will always change your results. So how you act in the market will determine your results. The money is not going to go anywhere. It is the byproduct of everything that you've executed properly after doing research and backtesting. So how can you gain clarity? So that way, not only are you looking at yourself, holding yourself accountable and being aware that you are the reason why you're successful or failing, how can I go ahead and eliminate the bad habits so that way I never experience those bad habits again? Well, if you don't control your trades, they will control you. Let's really look at that. If you really question your entry, it was a B setup, it wasn't an A plus setup, and you're inside of the trade, and you know you should stop yourself out and you should get out of the trade, but you're like, well, I feel, maybe, if only, then that means you don't control the trade. You're just like that leaf in the middle of the ocean, and you're going to take whatever the ocean does. Do you have a solid plan? And if the plan does not align with your entry and you're far away from support or far away from resistance, respectively, then guess what? You're asking for drawdown. They can go back and retest where you should have entered to enter with the real people that follows their plan. The real people that are patient. The real people that waits for their levels. So panic trading strategy disorder is the moment that you turn around and you're like, oh, I hit my stop loss 3 times in a row, and then you throw the baby out with the bathwater, and now you don't even have a strategy because you're like, oh, it didn't work. It just didn't work for you. It didn't work for you at that time. But why it didn't work? So it's very important that you look over your trading and you look over your strategy and write down, journal, so that way you can properly triage and be like, oh, I know why this happened. I moved my stop loss. I know why this happened. I should have taken profit at TP1 and lowered my leverage. Maybe leave a runner for TP2. Clarity is only going to come when you finally realize that there's something wrong. If you think that you're doing absolutely nothing wrong, guess what? You're not going to ask for clarity. You're going to do exactly the same things. And if you're not consistently profitable, then you got to ask yourself the question, if I think I'm not doing anything wrong and I'm not consistently profitable, then which one is it? Myron Golden says success is not about achieving one goal. It's about becoming a person who consistently produces success. I have a question for you, and you can put it in the comments. Do you think when your stop loss is hit that you actually had success? And that's a question that you're going to have to really stew over. You had a strategy that you've backtested. You probably backtested 100 times, 50 times, 30 times, whatever the case may be, 1,000 times, right? But that stop loss was supposed to stop you because you got in either A, at the wrong time, or B, at the wrong market climate. So it is successful because your strategy says, I'm supposed to be in, it's a 30-tick stop loss, or it's a 30% stop loss. It hit my stop loss. All right, cool. It hit my stop loss. All right, great. Let me go see what went wrong. That I could have done. Oh, that I could have done. The problem is, a lot of traders, they'll look at it and be like, well, the setup is still there. They're more worried about being in versus looking at what's wrong. And then guess what ends up happening? They get stopped out 3 or 4 times. You lowered your leverage now. Now the real run happens. Now you're like, oh my God, I should have been in this trade with my full leverage, but you just didn't wait patient enough. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. So that is the premise of this. You don't want that panic trading strategy disorder to permeate into your trading strategy and have these gremlins bouncing off your back because you decided to do something that you're not supposed to do. Improve. Be 1% better each and every day. How can I get my stop loss to become even tighter? So last week we had a nice little run through, and shout out to those that were successful after rewatching the video and everything else. And we talked about one strategy. Not everybody used it. Not everybody understands it. I don't use some of it. Well, my wife is real good at it. And some people use the strategy and they made more money. But did you throw the baby out with the bathwater? Because if you threw the baby out with the bathwater, then guess what? Now you don't have a strategy. You just got a one hit. And that dopamine hit is going to hit real hard. And like, oh, all I have to do is this. Instead of you looking at totality and having the proper confluences and have the proper climate for you to be in the right position, you're like, all I need is this. And that's not a strategy. It's more like a one-trick pony. EMAs are great without confluence. It's nothing. MACD is great without confluence. It's nothing. It's when you put everything together and make that nice gumbo of a great strategy, it turns a C plus fruit or vegetable that you put in a pot with a B plus broth that you have in there, and you put it all together, and you have yourself a nice, good, well seasoned, especially my Cajun folks out of Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? Add some of that Louisiana rub in the middle of it. Get yourself a good, solid meal. You want to eat in the market, but you won't do the work. You come to the market and you look at it for 10 minutes. So how can you avoid the internal struggles? Well, the biggest part of avoiding those internal struggles, so you don't have to always ask yourself, well, make a change, and then you just change so much that you have no identity. That is not the purpose of this mindset. It's ignoring your emotional responses. Ignoring them so that way it doesn't lead to those trading disasters where you blow up your account. Shout out to prop firm traders. I know I know some of y'all bend y'all rules just a little bit where I'm going to leverage so I can pass this evaluation as quickly as possible. Shout y'all. I give y'all props. But if you're not consistently getting the drawouts, then what's the purpose? Myron Golden has a quote: "You must train yourself to respond, not react. A response is calculated, planned, selected, put together. A reaction is impulsive." So if you always feel like you're impulsive, if you always feel like you're just jumping in, if you feel like you're not getting the results that you're looking for, you're probably working 90% off of emotions and very little objectivity. And that's not trading. You might as well take $100 and put it on black. So that's it. That's mindset. I appreciate y'all. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. I'm going to go ahead and talk to the rest of the team.